Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Always a pleasure to be back.
Today we're going corporate. Think high stakes, cutting edge tech, and some serious moral dilemmas.
Sounds juicy. Where are we getting our intel from?
Our source is a dialogue excerpt. We're basically flies on the wall, listening in on this super tense meeting about something called Project Ecliptica.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Who are the players?
You've got Veronica Pierce, she's the one calling the shots, and Dr. Alan Drake, a scientist who seems pretty worried about the whole thing.
A classic power struggle. I love it.
Right. So let's jump right in. The dialogue starts with Veronica, and whoa, she comes across as incredibly ambitious.
Yeah, just from that intro, I can already imagine her, pacing in front of a whiteboard, talking about changing the world.
Exactly. Like she's already picturing the headlines. She even says, "The world will bow at our feet."
Wow, that's some serious confidence.
Borderline delusional, maybe?
Ha, perhaps. But let's not judge too quickly. Ambition can be a powerful force, for better or worse.
True. But she also says, the world doesn't care about your warnings. They care about results, about power, and I am the one who will give it to them.
Whoa, okay, that's a little more intense. It's definitely giving ends justify the means vibes.
Yeah. So what do you make of that? What kind of leader does this suggest she is?
Well, on the one hand, she's clearly a visionary, someone who sets big goals and isn't afraid to go after them. That can be inspiring, especially in a leader.
What?
But there's that ruthlessness, that disregard for potential risks. It makes you wonder what she's willing to sacrifice to achieve her goals.
And that's where Dr. Drake comes in. He's definitely the voice of caution in this conversation. He keeps mentioning the data, the anomalies, and the signs, like he's seeing red flags everywhere.
Right, like he has access to information that Veronica is either ignoring or downplaying.
Yeah. It seems like he's genuinely terrified of what could happen if Project Ecliptica goes wrong.
The name itself is kind of ominous, don't you think? Ecliptica, like something is being hidden or obscured.
Ooh, good point. Like a shadow falling over everything.
Exactly. It hints at the potential for this project to overshadow, maybe even eclipse everything else, but in a bad way, like a warning.
That's a really interesting interpretation. It definitely adds another layer to the whole thing.
And I think that's what makes this dialogue so compelling. It's this clash between Veronica's unwavering ambition and Drake's desperate warnings.
You can practically feel the tension rising as they talk. And then there's that moment where Drake tries to warn her about the consequences of failure, but he gets cut off.
Ugh, the frustration. Like, come on, tell us what could go wrong.
Right. Such a cliffhanger. What do you think those consequences could be?
It could be anything, right? Financial ruin, environmental disaster, some kind of global catastrophe.
It's definitely playing on our fears of the unknown. What happens when technology advances faster than our ability to control it?
The question for the ages, and one that feels increasingly relevant today.
Absolutely. But getting back to the dialogue, I think this tension really highlights the central conflict. Ambition versus responsibility.
It's a classic dilemma. How far is too far? When does the pursuit of success become reckless?
And it's not just a philosophical question. It's something we all grapple with in our own lives, even on a much smaller scale.
Totally. I mean, haven't you ever felt that pull, that desire to achieve something, even if it meant bending the rules a little?
Oh, all the time. But like you said, it's about finding that balance, right? Knowing when to push forward and when to step back.
Exactly. Which brings us back to Veronica and Drake. Their conflict reaches its peak when Drake accuses Veronica of being blinded by ambition, willing to sacrifice everything for glory. Harsh words.
Definitely. And it makes you wonder if she even sees the potential downsides, or if she's just choosing to ignore them.
It's like she's convinced herself that success will justify any cost.
And that brings us to the final line of the excerpt, which is possibly the most chilling of all. Veronica dismisses the consequences of failure as irrelevant, but then Drake warns her that she will fall hardest if things go wrong.
Oof, talk about foreshadowing.
Right. It leaves us with so many questions. What will those consequences be? And will Veronica be able to handle them?
Or will she be crushed by the weight of her own ambition? It's a question worth pondering, especially as we think about the role of ambition in our own lives.
Absolutely. Because even though we might not be dealing with world-altering technology like Project Ecliptica, we all face choices that have consequences. And it's up to us to decide what we're willing to risk in pursuit of our goals.
Some heavy stuff to think about, for sure.
Definitely. Thanks for diving into this with me.
Anytime. Until next time, folks, keep those brains churning.